Yes, you're welcome back. On to your darling Saturday morning treat, and we have said it when we started the program that we have a lines of our activities today. Then we are going to have the governor's activities for this week, and I believe that if you have missed some things during the week, then today you are going to have a comprehensive activities of the governor. You start, you watch it.
Of Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke into the amphitheater of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology Ogbomoso was greeted with a loud ovation as the academic gathering was rented with a chorus of Imale. Speaking to newsmen, the governor said the university conferred honorary awards on deserving Nigerians who have made their marks in both public and private lives, saying that individuals must continue to make positive impacts on the lives of people around them. Governor Adeleke lauded the first alumnus of the university to be so awarded honorary doctorate degree in business administration, Prince Tayo Ajatu, for the great feat which he said was as a result of hard work, generosity and purpose-driven lifestyle.
One of my little brother, Tayo Ajatu, they honor him on the honorary doctorate degree on business administration. So that's why, because he's been giving back to the society, and I always like to encourage such people. That's why I'm here today.
Also receiving the leadership of the National Association of Osun State Students, NAOS, Governor Ademola Adeleke assured the students that his administration will not leave any section of the state out in the delivery of good governance that he swore to deliver. The students, who were happy to receive the governor in their midst, were full of appreciation as they request the governor to see to the agreement reached between the governments of Oyo and Osun State, which is now denying them of some benefits that they either to enjoy in the institution. Apart from the students, indigenes of Osun State that are resident in Ogbomoso, including those from Ede, the governor's hometown, also stormed the venue with talking drummers to register their appreciation for the governor amidst pomp and pageantry.
Of all Osun State students in Lautech, we welcome you, our governor, to this great center of learning, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Lautech. And also, the students of Osun State in Lautech have a lot of requests from the governor. The number one is the welfareism of the students, all Osun State students in Lautech, through the state government bursary and some scholarship. And again, for the past 3 years, the students and the staff of Lautech have been facing some challenges in the university since the sole ownership of Oyo State and Osun State. Till now, we don't know the agreement between the Oyo State government and Osun State government. We have lost the indigenous rights of Osun State. For the past 2 years, Osun State is now paying our non-reading tuition fee. We want you, Your Excellency, sir, to help us to review the agreement.
And is demonstrating all signals of organized development. Organized in Osun State passed through tough moment of aggressive action before my assumption of office. The death of neglect was so inhumane. In my treatment was openly and to labor, and the painful outcome was several days, death of life, and was open. May we never witness such an error.
Addressing the gathering of workers at the Osogbo City Stadium, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke called on the workers to forgive the past and join hands to build a better, prosperous and sustainable future, promising that his administration will continue to provide responsive leadership through transparency, fixing of bad infrastructural facilities, provision of adequate security that supports growth in all sectors. Senator Adeleke said his administration is responding swiftly to infrastructural needs of the people as an apostle of grassroots development.
Let us collectively forgive the past and join hands together to build tomorrow. Our task is to deploy the beauty of today to create prosperous future.
governor assured the workers that he has taken notes of all their requests, saying that government will respond to them appropriately. In their separate remarks, State Chairman of the Trade Union Congress (TUC) and the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC), Comrades Modupeola Oyedele and Adebowale Adeola, congratulated the governor on his election as governor of Osun State and appealed to him for approval of the 40% pay rise recently approved by the federal government for workers in the federal civil service. The leadership of the labor unions thanked the governor for regular payment of salaries and deductions, payment of 2 months out of the backlog salary arrears and deductions dated 2016, monetization of last promotion exercises, and provision of enabling working environment for workers. They equally used the occasion to call on the governor to address issues of understaffing, appointment of permanent secretaries, among others.
On the first cardinal point during his electoral campaign, and I want to say without missing words that he has lived up to those promises. To mention but a few, within the last few months, he's been on board. He has paid part of the homogeneous backlog of salary arrears and pension arrears owed by his predecessors. Promotion given by the past administration without financial effect has been cashed back.
Of College of Law, Osun State University Junior Osun, Professor Majid Alabi and other members of the college in his office. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke commended the management of the university for making the Ivory Tower a shining light among world universities, saying he is proud of Junior Osun as a legacy of the People's Democratic Party. Senator Adeleke assured that his administration will do everything necessary world-class university out of the new University of Ilesha, while calling on the university administrators to sustain the tempo of best practices and professionalism. Governor Adeleke called for transparency in the running of state-owned tertiary institutions.
The Osun State University is a shining light among all universities. I am proud of the university as a PDP legacy. Our administration is committed to supporting further growth and development of the university. A similar vein, we will build the University of Ilesha to a world standard, especially support our university administrators to sustain the tempo of best practices and professionalism.
In his address, the provost of College of Law, Ifetedo campus of Junior Osun, Professor Majid Alabi, lauded the governor for his government that is characteristic of fear of God, humility, and love for humanity since assumption of office. Professor Alabi said the visit was to invite the governor of Osun State to the third in the series of distinguished personality lecture to be delivered by retired Justice Majid Owade on the 31st of May 2023. According to him, the topic of this year's lecture will be Supreme Court of Nigeria and recent developments in public law.
I'm here as a leader of a team from the College of Law, Osun State University, to invite His Excellency the Governor of Osun State to the third in the series of the distinguished personality lecture of our college, expected to be delivered by the Honorable Justice Majid Adekunle Owade, retired Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, who will be talking to us on the 31st day of May this year on the Supreme Court of Nigeria and recent developments in public law.
In another development, Osun State Governor Senator Adeleke received the management of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC), who came to pay courtesy visit on the governor, led by the state coordinator Mr. Agbo Ndoma. The state coordinator thanked Governor Adeleke for honoring the Corps' invitation to attend the declaration of orientation course, saying Senator Adeleke was the only governor across Nigeria that attended the training program. Mr. Agbo assured that corps members deployed to the state are ready to give their best in service to their fatherland and appealed to the governor to come to the aid of the service in the areas of construction of office complex, renovation of the orientation camp, and augmentation of food items for the youth corps members, as well as upward review of allowances of corps members, among others.
I want to sincerely, on behalf of the DG, Brigadier Wadi Ahmed, members of the NYSC Osun State family, corps members, want to once again say a very, very big thank you. During the swearing ceremony, it's on record that you were the only governor nationwide personally presided over the 2023 batch 8-2 relegation course.
Responding, Governor Ademola Adeleke approved the request for augmentation of foodstuffs with immediate effect for the corps members and promised that government will look into other requests. Senator Adeleke said his administration will deploy necessary support to make the Osun State office of the NYSC the best in Nigeria.
So we have that to make sure that everything is okay. I can assure you, like I said, we're going to take a look at it and do it slowly but surely.
Total number of votes scored 914. By this announcement, Honorable Sunday DC, having scored 914 votes, is hereby elected as the state party chairman of Osun State.
That was Dr. Samuel Omotosho, Congress Committee Chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Osun State, announcing the result of the elections conducted to fill the vacant 39 positions in the party at the well-attended Congress. Addressing the gathering of party faithfuls who had converged on the Osogbo City Stadium from across 30 local government areas in the state, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke congratulated party faithfuls for a successful election, saying with the election of party executive, residents of Osun State will continue to enjoy good governance that will not leave any section of the state out. Thanking the outgone caretaker committee of the party headed by Dr. Adekunle Akindele, Governor Adeleke called on party members in the state to queue up behind the new executives and move the party forward. He assured residents of Osun State that the PDP administration will run people's government.
Unity is very key. We need all of us to join hands together and move PDP from strength to strength. To PDP members, be assured your government is working. Dividend of democracy is here. To Osun people, this PDP government is for the people, of the people, by the people.
In his acceptance speech, the newly elected party chairman, Honorable Sunday BC, promised to use his office to further strengthen and unite the party. While thanking Governor Adeleke and other PDP leaders in the state, Honorable BC called on party members to join hands together with his executive in moving the state forward.
I will use the office, to unite the party the more. I'm not saying that the party is not united as of now, get me right, but I will use it to unite the party the more. Everybody will be on the same page, under my leadership and under the leadership of the governor of Osun State. People are happy in Osun State, with what our governor is doing. To the people in Osun State, less than 4 months now, we have seen changes. Salaries have been paid, ideas have been paid, workers have been promoted, and infrastructural development is ongoing in Osun State.
Earlier in his address, Chairman of the Congress Committee, Dr. Samuel Omotosho, said the People's Democratic Party in the state has witnessed a series of crises but came out stronger because of the political doggedness of Senator Adeleke and the entrenchment of internal democracy as well as crisis management mechanisms of the party. While commending the state government for providing the conducive atmosphere, Dr. Omotosho called for calm and comportment from the delegates and contestants. The Congress was attended by representatives of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as well as security agencies. The Congress had in attendance the Deputy Governor in Osun State, Prince Kola Adewusi, Secretary to the State Government Alhaji Teslim Igbalaye, former Deputy Governor and Minister of State for Defense Irelu Olushola Obada, Barrister Doshu Babatunde, among others. Those who took oaths of office include Yakubu Idowu as Deputy State Chairman, Prince Bola Ajao, Secretary, Honorable Adesoye Oyetunde, Vice Chairman, Osun West, Alhaji Gasali Abesin, Vice Chairman, Osun Central, and Honorable Akin Famuyide as Vice Chairman, Osun East, among others.
Yes, you are welcome back. If you just joined us, it is still the Saturday morning trade, and we are on our first guest platform. We did inform you earlier that the issue we will be taking a look at on the first guest platform is the race for the National Assembly leadership, and we have the guest in the house. Jalil.
Yes, Honorable Leka Oyejetira, member of Osun State House of Assembly. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the program, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, we'll take a short break now. Please stay tuned.
Okay, we shall come to that one if the time can permit us later. Honorable, I want you to look at you were honorable and you remain honorable for life. Yes, when we look at compare the 1999 National Assembly to the present one, can we say that we are matured, or we are still looking for that very level of maturity?
Thank you very much. In my own opinion, we are moving forward. Even though we could witness some crises within the legislature, and from my own personal observation, when you have strong executive and strong legislature, there's always crisis. And most of the crises within the legislature, most of the crises are caused by the executive. But by and large, I believe democracy is growing in Nigeria.
Because when you look at that very 1999, you can see that we had Abraham to be the Senate president, and within a few months he was removed. Then what do you think that the likely causes of the Ulabalu in that National Assembly then? Or can we say that we cannot have something like that one? We are going to be having smooth ones.
In 1999, we were just transitioning from military to civilian regime. And interestingly, that was the year I too served in the House of Assembly here in Osun State, 1999 to 2003, when Baba Kadeye was the governor of Osun State. And most of the legislators, both at state level and national level, they don't have enough experience because we are just coming from military background. And the president that time, also had Chief Olusegun Obasanjo had military background. And most of the crises within the National Assembly that time, when they were Wabara, all of them were impeached. Okadigbo, you could trace the genesis of the crisis to the executive, because that time, even though it was a civilian regime, but the presidency was just a bit better than military regime. They couldn't tolerate opposition as such, and the issue of money also came to play, because whenever executive want to disrupt the house, they just, I'm not saying I'm a legislator person.
You are part of this.
Yes, I'm part of the legislature up to now. So, as I said earlier, most of the crises within the house are caused by the executive, and the circumstances and the way the leadership emerged. If a particular candidate is being sponsored by the executive, that leadership dare not go against the executive. The moment he's trying to go against the executive, there is getting ready to vacate the office.
Thank you very much, Honorable Oyedino. Yes, we'll go for a very short break now. SMT continues later with the same guest. Yes, you are welcome back. We are still on the first guest platform of the Saturday morning treats, and our guest is Honorable Lekan Oyedino. He has been talking about the race for the leadership of the National Assembly. Yes, you talked about how powerful the National Assembly could be and the role they play in a democratic dispensation. Now let's look at Nigeria's National Assembly. Why do you think the race is so strive at the moment?
Thank you very much. You see, leadership of National Assembly, there are so many things that come to play.
Okay.
We have party influence, zoning. We have group interests, ethnic, religious groups, even the private sector. They all have interest on who emerges as the let's say Senate President or Speaker of the National Assembly. And with the incompetent National Assembly, APC, which is the dominant party with majority both in the Senate and House of Rep, they've already zoned the positions. Even though it was done during the current Buhari administration, even though eventually the first time Senator Bukola Saraki from opposition emerged, and we will get to that later. So if you look at the emerging candidates, Godwin Obot Akpabio, Oshiomhole, Umahi, and some others that are not yet known, a lot of lobbying has been going around the zoning. Even the newly elected legislators, they are gathering themselves together. And again, if you look at the spread, in the Senate, the senators elect, even though APC is having majority, but APC is not having 2/3 of the legislators. I think APC has 56 senators elect, and the total is 109, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Then as of with that 56, those majority, but you need to talk.
Okay.
To pass bills or even to remove the Senate President. So there is no way APC will not need the opposition in the House. And then to avoid crisis, the candidate must be somebody that is well accepted, that spread across the party lines, that can gather that to thought at any time. So, and at the same time, you know, the incoming president is 3-in-1. Has been governor before, that is the executive arm of the government. he has been senator before, that is legislature, and a typical businessman, that is the private sector section. So any Senate president, incoming Senate president must be somebody that is very, very experienced, that can handle this executive. If not, the Senate will be pocketed. So what is going on lobbying and all those things, still democratic process, all that is happening. There is nothing wrong in trying to gather support of interest groups.
Okay, now let's look at the place of experience in the selection or election of the Senate President.
Yeah.
How does experience help? Because there's this school of thought that believes that if you have been a member before, rank, that this person is a ranking member, this is not a ranking member. How does that help in this selection of the leader?
Apart from the fact that it is part of the rules and orders of the house.
Okay.
To perform, you have to have the experience. Because for any Senate president or Speaker of the House, or even Speaker of the House of Assembly, the person has to interact with at national level, with the president, with leaders of the party, with the private sector, the manufacturers group, so many interest groups, religious leaders, and for somebody who just coming in for the first time, it will be very, very difficult. And even to control the second timers, it will be very difficult for a new person, because the ranking officers may not cooperate with the new leadership. For example, when we were at the House of Assembly, when there was impeachment move that time, those of us that were there for the first time, we've never heard anything about impeachment. Talk less of the procedure. But those who have got the experience, so the idea, and they know how to commit. Within the legislators themselves, experience matters to run the house, to avoid crisis. And if you take Osun State for example, when Honorable Bello Adejare was the speaker, it was crisis free throughout the 8 years. The same thing, Honorable Fisayo Najim Salam, because of the experience. But our own time was full of crisis. 1999 to 2003. I'm not saying the speaker then lacked experience, but the zeal, that time, as if this salute kind of thing.
Okay.
You see, dance to the gallery and all those things.
But don't you think that is what Nigerians actually want? Because most of the time when you see a National Assembly or State House of Assembly that is crisis-free, quote, people always refer them as rubber stamp.
Yes. Up to now, people still refer to 1999 to 2003 as the best session. I agree with you that rubber stamp house, whether at national level or state level, is not a fruitful one and cannot do the state any good. And if you look at even this current National Assembly leadership, majority of who believes in rubber stamp leadership. And the time Senator Bukola Saraki was the Senate president, he got the support of majority of Nigerians. Well, you could look at the executive or the president on the face, but it still depends on who is the president or who is the governor. You know that our president, even when he came, he said he belonged to nobody, and so he gave them 100% autonomy. It didn't bother to dabble into what is going on in the National Assembly. You can't expect Alhaji Bola Tinubu to do that. He's a typical politician. He would like to know what is actually going on in the National Assembly. So they need somebody that can look at him at the face and stand and defend and police the executive, because the functions of the legislature is not only law making but to police the executive.
Okay.
And you need very strong leadership to do that. Somebody that cannot be easily bought, not someone that has never experienced anything. This is money, this is this, or somebody that can be caged. No. So that is where the experience comes in. Even though normally as a pharmacist, there is no drug without side effects. So if you say this is a tough person, is this, is that, it's good, but we have side effects, because by the time the legislature will pass the bill, the president fails to assent to it, or other way around, or the Senate leadership or as a legislature leadership continue to oppose the executive, even whether good or bad, then there won't be progress. There will be crisis. The executive will be plotting how to change the leadership of the house. There will be crisis in the house. Nothing will move. So it's a give and take.
Okay.
Yeah. Honorable, I want you to look at this one, because we believe that Jojo is better than war. And what people believe is that, as Sabuchi said, that when the National Assembly are in relationship, a better relationship, no crisis, then people will think that they are losing because but it seems to be like that. But I want to look at this the issue of wardrobe allowance that the presidency usually used to influence the lawmakers. How true is that? Can we say that the senator, the lawmakers are apart on their own, then the presidency is are the two of them separated practically?
You see, actually, there's supposed to be separation of powers, and you see, Nigerian legislators, I must confess to you, they always, most of the time, they go beyond their boundaries.
Okay.
When we were at the House of Assembly, we demanded, for example, for constituency projects and all that. And the governor then, Chief Bisa Kende, said that is unconstitutional. That is the work of the executive. That is not in the constitution. That if you could show him where it is written that we have power to execute projects. I know our speaker, very brilliant, Professor Majid Alabi. He couldn't go further on that. Even though you are the one that drafted that law, we didn't enjoy it. Babaka, they said, no. If you want to be part of the executive, you can resign. If you are picked as commissioner, then you can solve that project. But nowadays, both at national level and the state level, you see legislators doing constituency projects, all these allowances here and there. Left to me is a form of corruption.
It's a way of getting them into the pocket of the executive.
That's all. That's all. You see, because maybe that one contributed to, during our own time, there are certain characteristics Chief Bisa Kende and Buhari had in common. That you can do whatever you want to do. Leave me alone. If I deserve impeachment, go ahead, impeach me. If it's constitutional. But that I will do what is not supposed to be done for you, no. Not that we too demanded for anything, it was, the story, what actually led to that crisis. Because the executive was not ready to bend, and the legislature also not ready to bend.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for cutting you short.
Yeah.
Actually said that the issue of constituency project is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
So what then does oversight function entail?
Oversight functions is quite different from constituency projects.
Okay. Oversight
functions entails you looking at the money you appropriated when we pass the budget. For example, let's say, okay, we want a brand new building for Osbc. It's also so million naira, and it was passed into law. It is the duty of, let's say, House Committee on Projects or a work and project to come and see how that money was utilized.
Okay.
That is oversight function. Not that, okay, the honorable member representing Osogbo London local government, I want to construct a building at Osbc. You see, or I want to say borrow for Osbc. That is the work of the executive, not the house. But you can go and check whether that money was judiciously used. That is oversight function.
Okay. See, there is this disconnect between majority of Nigerians and those at the National Assembly, because there is always this belief that they are just there, amassing the country's money, they earn millions that cannot be accounted for every month. So people will always expect that they should bring back the dividends of democracy. So if a lawmaker is there in Abuja, what are the dividends of democracy that the constituents